David Phelps isn't just a gospel singer, he's a name that's become almost sacred in Christian music. Known for his powerful tenor voice and stunning vocal range, David's performances have often felt like spiritual experiences for those who hear him sing. Whether he was lifting hearts with classics like O Holy Night or leaving audiences breathless with Nessun Dorma, David brought more than just music, he brought emotion, passion, and deep faith. His time with the Gaither Vocal Band, one of the most iconic groups in Southern gospel music, made him a household name among gospel lovers. But behind that fame, something deeper was unfolding, a personal story of change, faith, and a longing for more than the stage could offer. In 2017, fans were shocked when David Phelps officially stepped away from the Gaither Vocal Band again. This wasn't the first time he left, but something about this departure felt more permanent. People wondered why a man at the height of his fame would walk away. The answer wasn't dramatic or scandalous. It was deeply personal. David felt a calling, not away from music, but toward a new purpose. He wanted more time with his family, more creative control over his music, and a deeper connection to his spiritual journey. While many chase after the spotlight, David chose to follow his heart, even if that meant stepping away from the stage that made him famous. One of the biggest reasons David left the Gaither Vocal Band was family. David has always been a family man, devoted to his wife, Lori, and their 4 children. Life in the band meant constant touring weeks and sometimes months away from home. He missed birthdays, family dinners, and the everyday moments that matter most. In interviews, David spoke openly about how hard it was to be away. He once said, "I looked around and realized that my kids were growing up, and I was missing it." That realization hit hard. He knew he needed to be present, not just as a voice on stage, but as a husband and father at home. It was a sacrifice, but one he made with love. To understand David's choice, it helps to look at where he came from. Born in Texas in 1969, David grew up in a home filled with both faith and music. His father was a music teacher, and his mother taught English. They raised David with strong Christian values and a love for learning. He went on to study voice performance at Baylor University, receiving classical training that gave him the vocal power fans admire today. But instead of chasing fame in secular music, David felt drawn to ministry. When he joined the Gaither Vocal Band in 1997, he brought with him a rich blend of gospel, classical, and even Broadway influences. His style was different, and that difference helped shape a new era for the group. As David grew, so did his music. While he always respected the Southern gospel roots of the Gaither Vocal Band, he started to feel limited by its structure. His solo work allowed him to explore a wider range of music. From classical hymns to pop-inspired gospel, David created songs that spoke to his soul and reflected his personal journey. Albums like Freedom, Life is a Church, and Revelation revealed a man not afraid to mix styles and take risks. He wrote about real-life struggles, fear, faith, hope, and the mystery of God. It wasn't just about praising God in song, it was about searching, wondering, and expressing a deeper faith experience that didn't always fit the mold. David didn't leave ministry, he redefined it. Some people assumed his departure from the Gaither Vocal Band meant he was stepping away from his faith. But the truth is quite the opposite. David's faith continued to grow, just in a different direction. His solo music began to include themes that were more introspective, more personal. Songs like Heaven's Shore, Ghost Town, and Water weren't just worship songs, they were reflections of a man working through his faith journey. These songs asked questions, told stories, and invited listeners to think more deeply. David didn't want to just sing to his audience, he wanted to walk with them through their doubts and discoveries. Another big reason for David's departure was the freedom to create on his own terms. The Gaither Vocal Band had a tight schedule and a very specific musical style. While that worked for many years, David began to feel that his creative wings were clipped. He needed space to write new songs, try new sounds, and perform in ways that connected more personally with his audience. By stepping away, he opened the door to fully produce his own albums, arrange his own performances, and decide where and when he wanted to share his music. With his own production company and independent label, David finally had the freedom he had long desired. And his fans followed him on this new path with open hearts. What makes David Phelps' story even more inspiring is how he left the Gaither Vocal Band with grace, honor, and mutual respect. There was no argument, no scandal, no dramatic split. Bill Gaither himself praised David as one of the most gifted voices in Christian music and welcomed him back for special reunion events. The two men shared not just music, but a mutual understanding of what it means to serve God through song. David's exit was a model of professionalism and integrity, showing that sometimes people can part ways and still remain connected in love and purpose. Since leaving the band, David's solo career has flourished. He's toured across the US and internationally, released multiple albums, live DVDs, and even holiday specials. His performances are now more intimate and often feel like a conversation rather than a concert. He combines worship, storytelling, and powerful music into experiences that touch the heart and soul. David has also explored other musical styles, including jazz, classical crossover, and musical theater-inspired compositions. But at the center of it all remains his voice, not just the sound, but the message. A message of faith, family, and finding purpose in every step. David Phelps has left and returned to the Gaither Vocal Band. Before, he was part of the group from 1997 to 2005. Then again from 2009 to 2017. Because of this, many fans wonder, will he come back again? While David has not made any promises, there's a sense that the door is always open. He maintains a warm relationship with the group and has appeared in reunion performances. But given how well his solo career is going, and the new spiritual direction he's taking, a permanent return seems unlikely. Still, in gospel music, nothing is ever final, and with a heart like David's, anything is possible. So, what truly sets David Phelps apart? It's not just his unmatched vocal ability, though his 3-octave range is legendary. It's not just the awards or the sold-out shows. What makes David Phelps special is his authenticity. He chose to walk away from fame to follow faith. He chose family over the spotlight. He chose spiritual growth over public applause. In doing so, he didn't lose his audience, he deepened it. Fans didn't just admire his music, they began to admire his journey. David Phelps reminds us that sometimes, the most powerful songs are the ones sung off stage in the quiet places of life, where love, purpose, and God's calling truly speak. When David Phelps announced his departure in 2017, fans were naturally disappointed, but they weren't angry. Instead, they showed love and support. Many people shared stories online about how David's music had helped them through tough times, grief, illness, spiritual doubt, or moments of joy. The comments were filled with gratitude, encouragement, and blessings. People understood that David's decision came from a place of love, not rejection. They saw his choice as one of maturity and faith, not abandonment. In fact, many fans related to his journey, choosing family over career, or taking a leap of faith to follow a new purpose. This connection made his story even more powerful. It wasn't just about a singer leaving a group. It was about a man choosing to live a more meaningful life. Some even said that David's departure taught them something important, that it's okay to walk away from something good if it means choosing what's best for your soul. That message struck a deep chord with many who, like David, found themselves at a crossroads in life. His story wasn't just inspiring, it was permission. Permission to change, permission to grow, and permission to follow God's call, even when the world doesn't fully understand. David Phelps didn't just talk about faith, he lived it. Walking away from a successful career, a stable fan base, and the comfort of the Gaither name wasn't easy. But for David, true success wasn't measured in ticket sales or applause. It was measured in integrity. In how he lived out his calling, in how he loved his family, and in how he stayed true to what God was stirring in his heart. That kind of decision shows a different side of faith. Not the kind you only see on stage or hear in a song, but the kind that shows up in real-life choices. Like when a father says no to a tour so he can be home for dinner, or when an artist takes a financial risk to create music that speaks to his soul, or when a believer chooses silence and simplicity over fame. David's life became a quiet sermon. I preached from a pulpit, but lived from the heart. His journey reminds us that faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's found in the stillness, in the small choices, in the ordinary days. And sometimes, following God doesn't mean climbing higher. It means stepping back, listening deeper, and trusting that the path ahead, though unknowns, filled with purpose. At 55, David Phelps isn't slowing down. If anything, he's entering a new season of strength and creativity. His recent projects continue to blend powerful vocals with honest, heartfelt songwriting. He tours with a sense of purpose, sharing not just songs but stories, wisdom, and faith. His audience may be smaller than it was in the Gaither days, but it's also more personal, more connected. They're not just fans, they're fellow travelers on the same spiritual path. David has proven that you don't need a huge platform to make a big impact. Sometimes, the deepest impact comes when you're walking closely with God, even if fewer people are watching. He continues to mentor young artists, lead worship, and produce music that reflects both his technical brilliance and his spiritual maturity. With his wife and children by his side, he's building a legacy that's more than just music, it's a life well lived. And that's the true beauty of David Phelps' story. It's not just about what he left behind, it's about what he walked toward. A fuller life, a deeper faith, a richer kind of music that comes not just from the voice, but from the soul. He shares his tale through music, revealing his hardships, innovation. He invents gospel music, breaks conventions, and combines songs. Continue to have a worship foundation even when he has followers follow David instead of merely listening to him, not for sensationalism or celebrity rumors, but for the real life that his music and life portray. Legacy in motion. David Phelps, who will be 55 in 2024, is not slowing down. He continues to tour record and push the frontiers of creativity, Above all, he continues to raise his family's support up and artists and follow his calling. He left behind more than just a string of hits, standout vocals, a deeper voice, Theon that drew him back into the mystery of genuine faith and life, and away from lights is the source of this life. When the mission and the music comediture meet the departure of David Phelps from the Gaither Vocal Band, it was not a last resort, it was air alignment of his calling, his work on his principles. David stayed true to himself in a society when artists are expected to remain current. He loved to find sunlight in his home, his soul, and a society that was fixated on spotlights. David's narrative serves as a reminder to those who have followed his path that the most significant acts of faith aren't always audible. They are sometimes small moves in the direction of something bigger. Even though he no longer performs nightly beneath the gathers, his current ministry may be the most potent one ever. Note by note, family heart by heart, that is a story that is still being written. David Phelps's exit from the Gaither Vocal Band makes a subdued yet impactful statement in a society that exalts celebrity, quick success, and unceasing Gaither comes before comfort. Family comes before celebrity, and genuine above praise. David stayed still, even though he was known because he was being pulled into something different, something calmer, made deeper, but no less precious. Helofed at one time. The cadence of spotlight performances, rehearsals, and tours had become incompatible with his beat, and in that instant, he made a brave choice that few artists do. Follow orders over opportunities, neither a scandal nor an emotional collapse at Compandi. His departure it was a well-considered religious stride towards spiritual and artistic liberation. Doing this, he provided thousands of followers with something much more precious than a new album or tour date, a demonstration of what it means to live intentionally. David Phelps's voice will always be associated with iconic performances of the end of the beginning and No More Night. To those who have followed his entire career, however, he is more than just a singer. As a parent who selects his children, his marriage was his top priority, an artist who resisted having his value determined by industry, even away from the largest, a worshiper who never stopped at seeking God in every word, and no Tebian only gospel music. His journey has a message, it speaks to everybody who has ever been caught between the whispers of God and the demands of the world, or between achievement and soul. It's acceptable to change course, to take a break, to safeguard what's most important. It reminds us it's possible that leaving something excellent behind called indicate that you're creating room for something better rather than failing where invited along as fans, so we're not left behind. David continues to offer himself through his solo music, personal performance, and candid lyrics. Possibly more so today than ever, his songs convey more than just harmony, they also convey religious emotion, a narrative. Perhaps he won't be performing on Agathar stage every weekend, his voice however still does what it always does in hearts' sanctuaries, living rooms, and headphones. It heals, inspires, and uplifts. David Phelps left a group, but he also embraced a life of honesty, originality, and purpose, and we thank him, not just acclaim him for that.